Hello, my angels and devils, and all who may wander here. It is Amanda Christina, and I was asked by a few people to do a tutorial. You'll have to excuse, one of my butterflies decided to lose a wing. I will have to change that one again, move it into a different position. I might actually have to back it onto some more cardstock just so it's a little bit less likely to break. But for this mini album, there is a flip through. I will put it in the info bar. Now, I could not find a paper pad that had the kind of ephemera bits I was looking for. I hauled this a while ago. My sister bought it for me from Kaiser in Canberra. So I have used 4 regular sheets of paper from this. So this is one of the ones I've taken out and used. I've used one of these, which I sat down last night and fussy cut as ephemera. I used one of these pages, which you would think look a bit hard for a very small mini album, but that actually turned out to be quite perfect for. And I used this pale sort of greeny blue map. I also fussy cut out this page of ephemera pieces and this page of ephemera pieces, and I also used that piece of paper. So, but I also took out all the ephemera at the back. So I spent time pulling it all apart just to make this a much faster, easier tutorial for everyone, including me, because otherwise we would have been here for ages while I fussy cut. And as you can see, I've put everything into little binder clips so I know what is what and it's easier. So these tags were from the paper pad. We have our gussets, we have all our pages. Now, here's the thing. This took me quite a long time to do. However, I was also a bit distracted and I was doing the prep work because I didn't have all my measurements. So not having all the measurements, this would go a lot faster, will go a lot faster for you. I will probably sit down and do a blog post on this with all the measurements in it. I think that's going to be the easiest way for everyone to get the measurements. So we start first with our cover pieces. Now, it doesn't matter what size this is. It's just an offcut that you actually have room to wrap around your pieces. That's all that matters, is that you can get them over and over. So the cover pieces are thin chipboard. This for me comes from all the We Are Memory Keepers stuff that are the page pockets. They have a piece of chipboard in every single packet of 10 page pockets. So that chipboard is coming in mighty handily at the moment. So the spine is 3 inches by, no, these are 3 inches by 2 inches. Sorry, I was looking at the spine and reading that. So as you can see, 2 inches by 3 inches. So 3 inches long by 2 inches wide. Then your spine is 1.5 inches by 3 inches, and we need 2 of the cover pieces and 1 of the spine pieces. Now, if you are a person who recycles cereal boxes and things, you could stick a few pieces together and cut these out like that, or cut them out first and then stack them up. That is fine. So this is what we're going to start with. So I'm keeping my scoreboard handy so that I can show you the measurements as well as tell you what they are. There's my scoring tool. Okay, so I'm starting with craft glue. You can take this on or craft glue it. Everybody does this differently. I tend to glue down the smoother side just to give the album. Now, here's the thing with your cover. You're going to cover it. You're going to cover over this piece. It's not the be-all, end-all piece of what you're going to use, so do not be too stressful about having everything perfect. So we're just going to, what I do is just flip it over, grab my bone folder and run it up and down. I have pink on my bone folder, which I have no idea why I have pink on my bone folder. But anyway, so I just do that. You don't have to do that. I just like to make sure everything's on well. This is just Helmer craft glue. The bottle's looking a bit worse for wear because I just keep refilling it. I can get a refill for $17 or $18, I think it is, at Jolly Ollie's. And so that is what I use. and it's just clear craft glue. I find that quite easy to use. So there, that one's, look, that's really well on there now. So then with your spine, we're going to pop this on, and you need a little gap between your spine and your cover. Now, I sometimes do this too close. So, and I get cracking issues. So this is what, there's a little trick I've learned for this, which is I use my, to give me like, so I line it up together and then I just pull it out for a little bit. Then what I do is I make sure I've got an even a space as I can get, and that it's as lined up as I can get it. Then what I do is I just take a little bit of glue, push it through here, and then I just sort of rub it into the cardstock a bit so that it gives you a bit of a barrier, so that as it lifts and turns, you're not going to have it crack as much. I think when they're really close together, they do crack more. I think that might be a little bit too far apart. There we go. And then we're just going to glue. You can tape or glue. It's up to you how you do this. Hang on, that's the smooth piece. Okay. So it really, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to shake the table then. This is just a trestle table, so that is why. Okay, and we're going to put this cover bit, the writing to this side so that we cover it up. So we just line this up and again, pull it out about the same amount. I just run my finger along to make sure it's still even. Yep. Looks about the same to me. It's probably a little bit different, but not too bad. Just making sure. I usually do that just to make sure there's no, yeah, like there's a little bit of gap. Okay, and then I'm just going to again, and I do this on the edges of the front too if I need to, just to, I'm so paranoid about things breaking. Like I never want to send someone something that breaks. So now I had scissors. Isn't it funny? You have everything you need and then suddenly you think, oh, where is that one thing? Okay, so you're supposed to sort of miter the corners. I have a different way I prefer to do my corners, if I'm completely honest. This I'm not such a huge fan of, but it is less bulky. So. And don't stress if everything's not super perfect, because we're going to do other things in a bit to help it. So I just, so if you pick it up and fold it with the, and then we do that with this. And I didn't actually, I just realized that I didn't go over the other pieces. Just make sure they're all on nicely. Now this has a little bit of a mark on it. Don't stress because you'll be covering it. This is just sort of like your pre-cover, I guess. It's just you're holding all your book page together. If you ever have pulled apart a book from a store, or a second-hand book, you will have seen how they go together. So now we're just going to grab our glue. Now, I do a little bit of glue around the edge here as well. Then I just glue up. As I said, you can tape this. It really is up to you. The reason I glue this is I just find it easier to use the glue, and I like that it's just a little bit less awkward. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take your bone folder. I'm sure you've seen this if you've watched album tutorials where they just do the little tucky spot thing. I don't know. I'm not very good at the little tucky spot thing, but I do try. So we're just tucking that little bit in, making sure that when we fold this up, it won't be seeable as much. Oh, getting glittery things in here. Okay. That's what happens when you don't have much room. So I do right up to the edge, like the little, yeah, okay. And then we just make sure we've got that down nice and tight. I do like to make sure everything's down nice and tight. And then we're just going to fold over, push up. Now, I've watched a lot of Rosa Kelly, a lot of Shelley Geigel, Web of Creativity kind of people as the people that I have learnt to do mini albums from. However, this one is all my measurements. I designed the page. I mostly designed the pages myself. I literally just made it up as I was going on. It doesn't mean that I haven't used pages no one else has. It just means that I was just doing what I felt like at the time. So now we're going to, again, glue along the edges. Glue up. Now, just make sure you don't overuse your glue towards the end and the corners. Now, I'm just going to pull out this little chunk because nobody needs a little chunky bits of glue on there. I think it'll make the cardstock sort of bulge out a little bit if not careful. And then we are going to, now this is a very small work surface and I am going very, very slowly. Oh my God, we are at 10 minutes on just, okay. Wow, okay, this is going to be some long tutorial. Okay, and this is me going slowly too, like, and explaining as I go. So then you just gently work. Just move that over there so it doesn't keep knocking my glue over. Okay, so then you're just gently working your bone folder. If you don't have a bone folder, that was a paper trimmer to the toe and you can't see my facial expression, but man, that hurt. Okay, so then you're just going to see how that folds up nicely now. Then we're going to do this one. And this is honestly the hardest part of doing the cover, like is getting the cover on, because everything else is sort of a cakewalk-ish. There's only a couple of bits that are sort of a little bit time consuming, and this is one of them. And then let me have a look. We have a little bit of overhang, so I'm just going to snip that. Check this one for a bit of overhang and just snip that. And then I'm just going to burnish that on. As I said, if you do not have a bone folder, just you and bone folder is such a misleading word because not all bone folders are made out of bone these days. Thank God. Okay. So I just play with it and I just make sure I can fold it both ways. So the other thing I sometimes do if I am starting to see a little bit of a split is I will come in and just run a little bit of glue along these bits before I cover over it again. Okay, so that is the album cover. It took us 12 minutes and we didn't even have to cut stuff, so that's not too bad. Now, we have our gusset. This is one of the things I only slightly prepared, and it is five by 2 3/4, I believe. 5 inches. Yes, 5 inches by 2 3/4. You are going to score at 1/2 inch, then every 1/4 inch up until 4.5 inches, so that you get all those. So you get your gussets. So that is score at 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, an inch, 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, 1 3/4, 2, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4, 3, 3 1/4, 3 1/2, 3 3/4, 4, 4 1/4, 4 1/2. So that is what you will score at that. And then you accordion sort of fold it. So you, what I do to fold this is I pinch the ones together that I want together. Now, normally you do a 1/2 inch sort of gusset depending on the album. However, because this one is miniature, I went with a 1/4 inch because 1/2 inch would just basically leave you nowhere to put anything in your little pockets. So what I have already done is I've already put tape on one side of each of the fold ups, and we're just going to put them together and burnish them. And then I just fold it the other way and burnish. And then I'm just going to do this with all of the pieces. Then we have to put more tape on, and that's the one thing I didn't pre-do because it just would have got a bit confusing. So yes, this is going to be a long video. Hunker in, people. We're going to be here a while. This might be one that I don't upload in HD. Just for the fact that it's going to take forever to upload. I mean, we're already... It does get faster. This is just that I've always found that setting up an album and designing the pages is the thing that takes me the longest. Once the page is designed, I figure out what I'm doing with the page. But the thing is, I don't sit there and do pre-prepared tutorials. So what I will do is sometimes, like I did do the Rosa Kelly baby book one, which I really loved, but sometimes I want to do it my way. So I want to use my imagination and come up with pages myself and page configurations. So this one has 5 pages. So you'll get 5 pages out of this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, there's 2 things. First things first, and it's easier to do the tape first than it is to do the chopping. So I have a little trick that I do. This isn't something I've seen other people do. This was just, I probably watched too many Stamping Up tutorials, and they always miter their corners. And I find for getting your pages in, it really, really helps. And I just realized something, that I did not cut pieces for the insides of my covers. So I apologize for that in advance, because it was late last night and I knew I'd forget something. So we're just putting tape on both sides of this. And this is where our pages will adhere to. Now, some people don't go all the way down to the bottom. I honestly don't stress that. What I do is once they're adhered, I play with them a bit to make sure they will fold okay. I find it hard to only go down 1/4 of an inch when I've got 1/2 inch ones. So I think what I might start doing is scoring a line so that I know where I've got to go down to. I have used my scoreboard to help me find things, like to know where to do things before. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. Where are we at? I can't really see. About 15 minutes. Sorry, guys. And you have to cut too. I was trying to do this as something. This isn't going to be a quick put it together in 1/2 an hour craft, unless you're super speedy, which I'm not. Okay, so okay. So we have these, and again, I just push them backwards and forwards just to make sure everything will flip nicely. See? Now what I do is I just take my scissors and I chop a tiny bit off. I don't cut room off the end. I just literally chop a little corner off so that, and they do fly, so that the pages go on easier. That it's just something I noticed for me, is that because you make your pages the way you do, or I do, I try and make my pages close to the thing, so I don't like big gaps. I'm a weirdo. So that is our gusset. It's small. Everything is small. So now what we're going to do is I glue the gusset in, and I will tell you why. And I'm just gluing the gusset pieces because I have found tape comes up. Quite frankly, I have used different tapes, super strong tapes, and eventually they all seem to come up. When you're putting so much work into a mini album, now you want to line up, if you can, your score lines. So you want to, that's why I haven't glued that last bit. So you want to kind of try and line your score lines up, and then what I do is I just go through in between each of these and make sure they're nice and stuck, and we'll give that a minute to stick. And then I didn't glue, so we're just going to take a little bit of glue along the last ridge. So I only glued the pieces that were, okay, so you want, okay, so with this piece, you want your score line to sort of end up in that fold, so it will be in there. So then what you do is you glue that down, and then we're going to glue this piece down. And what you do, I just hold gently and pull this across so it's in the right spot, because you've got that kind of accordion thing. It has a little bit of flexibility. So then we just go like this. And I'm just going to let that dry for a moment. And I'm just going to work my bone folder in there. That's for me, because I find that when I do this, I struggle if I don't work the bone folder in. I struggle to get this to sit right. And then we're just going to stick this piece down. And the same over here. Just stick this piece down. And then just double check in the bone fold. And that's our cover. That is literally our cover, completely almost done, the basics of. So there you go. You've got your little mini album. It's sort of a nice stiff fold, so it doesn't need a closure because it will hold up on its own, and I like that. I mean, if you want to add a closure, you can. So that's that. Now, which one is the pages? That is the question, Amanda. Now, I have magnets as well for some pages. What I'm probably going to end up doing is doing this in 3 parts because this is a long video. Are these no, these are not pages. I have pages somewhere. I'm betting these are the pages. Yep. Okay. So now, your page, you need 5 pages. Now, all the white cardstock is offcuts. Yep, your pages. I don't know. Oh, right. I see 1, 2, 3. They're not pages, they are page flips. Okay, so what you need is a 5.5-inch piece of cardstock. You score it at 2.5, at 5, you put tape on the end. And that's your inside. And I've missed inking the inside of that one. This is what happens when you're up late doing things. So what I'm going to probably do is break this up into 30-minute lots. I am so sorry, Fiona Jane. I know this might be too much for you to do, but if it is, let me know and I will send you one that I have made for you because I don't want you to miss out on having a really cute micro mini album. Also, because I am talking you through this, so you want 5 of those. So these I've put together already. So all you're doing is making a hollow pocket, basically. So we're just going to fold those over, make sure they're nice and even, and voila, you have a page. Simple. I left 2 to show you because it is really simple. Now, the thing is, if you've done mini albums before, this will probably go a lot faster for you. So that's your pages. Now, you can either put them in now, which is what I will probably do because that's what I usually do, or you can decorate them, then put them in. So I'm going to put these pages in, and then I'm going to call that the basic mini album tutorial, and then we will do the pages. So this is how I put mine on. I literally just, hang on. Oh no. Oh, Amanda, what have you done? Okay, can we rip this out? Sugar. When things want to go wrong, they'll go wrong. Okay, so we just discovered that the pages are not as long as they should be. 2.5, and this is 2 3/4, I think. So let's get out my, yeah, okay. I did my pages a little bit too small, but here's the thing. You will always have a workaround. There will always be a way to fix a problem if you're fast enough. That did not, okay, but it shows me where I need to cut at least. So, oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm doing a tutorial and I screw up that badly. Not bad enough that I forgot the inside cover pieces. Oh no, she completely has the wrong size for the pages. These could actually be a little bit longer. So if you're doing this at home, you can make your pages an extra 1/4 inch. I will sit down and figure out where I went wrong with that, but that fits now. Okay, so let's just get this all glued back in. I'm so sorry, everyone. It happens to the best of us. I didn't double check, and that's on my head. I did not double check before I went to put this together. So you could easily go a bit wider if you wanted to. I think I deliberately left a bit of extra room in case, you want to add lace or flowers or bling or stuff, like things that dangle. I always sort of think about that, but there you go. See, crisis averted. Just for anyone who gets upset when they make a mistake, proof that a mistake doesn't have to be the end of a project because everything else has been cut to fit the page sizes. So yeah, so there you go. First page in, then we do the same thing. Each page we're just going to take off the tape And once I've done the pages, we'll call this part 1 done. We'll call building the basic book. This will be the basic micro mini album. Now, as you're doing it, no, I put them up that way. Okay, so I'm just making sure I put all my page ends at the same end. So then you're just going to, again, oh, hang on. She does that a bit too quick and realizes that she hasn't pushed it down all the way. And the tape's going, yep, tough luck. This is what the good thing is with mini albums, is they hold a multitude of sins. They hide a multitude of sins. They're very good at that. So that's our first 2 pages. As you can see, I didn't quite get that one down far enough. So I note to self to be more careful. And 2 more pages, and then we're going to call this part of the tutorial done. And we will move on to page designs. So you just make sure it's pushed. I do it all the way to the end, as I said, but if you didn't want to, you could use a thinner tape and just put it halfway down. So 2 more pages, and we've got the start of our mini album done. This is the basic mini album. So the only other thing, as I said, I've missed doing is bringing a piece of cardstock to mat along there. And that would be, I'd say, 2 3/4 by, what's the mini album? The cover is 2 by 3. Oh, 1 3/4 by, I think I've gotten my measurements mixed up somewhere. 1 3/4 by 2 3/4. So that would give you your 1/4 inch, that gives you the little border all around, and that just makes it look a little bit nicer. That's just a finishing off touch. Like, it's not, if you don't want to do that and you just want to put pattern paper here, you can do that. Like, no one's going to judge you for that. It's just what I learnt to do, so I've been doing it. And then we go that. Hang on. Now, I can see that I need to cut just a little bit more off the end here. I find that makes it easier for me to get it on and off, or to get it on, is to have, why is you not, there we go. There we go. And then we fit it on, and we've got the flippity flip flips. And that is the basic album. So take a break, get a drink, relax, have a cup of coffee, have a snack, and then probably later in the week because I'll probably do these staggered so that, because they're going to take a long time to upload, we will come back and we will do our basic page designs. Then we may just do some adding of the paper and decorating, but it just depends. Like, the page designs I've done, so it should be pretty easy to do the page designs and the matting. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know below if you're going to try this, if you're turned off by the fact that I screw up a lot when I craft, even with a great deal of preparation. As I said, once you have all the measurements and the things sort of sorted out, it's a very easy thing to build. It takes a little bit of time because it is a wee bit fiddly, and I can see where I've gone a little bit wrong because my pages are right to the end of this. So I've misjudged my pages. I was tired last night, so I will make sure to go back, and it depends. If you want them a bit smaller, just take 1/4 inch off each page. So instead of being cover, spine, gusset, pages, instead of being 1 7/8 by 5 1/2, make it 1 3/4, which is probably where I went wrong. But I don't mind that buffering up against the end, because then all your little cover pieces will come out the end, and you can put like a little bit of lace or something on them to make them look fancier. Anyway, I'm going to stop babbling. Join me for part 2 of this. I will make sure that once they're all parts are up, I will link them all together so it's an easy to find tutorial. I know this is a little complicated. I am so sorry. I tried to sort of not dumb it down, but make it as easy as possible as I could for you and for me, because I'm not a person who likes to measure and do all that stuff a lot. So I made a lot of mistakes just trying to get these measurements right for you guys. Anyway, I will talk to you soon, my angels and devils. I will see you in the next video. Let me know if you're going to give this a go, and I will talk to you soon. Bye! Oh, and as always, remember, you are amazing, you are incredible, and yes, you truly do matter. Bye!